Today I'm going to give you a detailed summary of chapter number 2, Lost String of your Flamingo book, class 12. I hope I'm telling the name of the book right. So now I will be here guiding you for your boards 2026. It will be a quick recap for you guys before your board exams. Now the detailed summary of Lost String is here. Stories of stolen childhood. It's divided into two parts. Sahib and second one is about Mukesh. So in part one, the protagonist is Saheb, a rag picker from Simapuri, and the Lost Spring is by Anees Jung. This chapter talks about the painful reality of poverty and child labor in India. The title Lost Spring is symbolic in itself. Spring usually represents youth, happiness, and new beginnings. But for poor children like Saheb and Mukesh, their childhood is lost because they are forced to work instead of going to school and enjoy their life fully. So they are living a life of, we can say, conditions. They are not living a very cheerful life or a life full of privileges. They are not born with a golden spoon. So they are working for it to support their support or sustain themselves or their families. Now it highlights the harsh realities of poverty and child labor in India. As I discussed, the poor children, though both of the parts discuss the plight of poor children, like how they suffer, why they are deprived of many things which we have enjoyed in our childhood and even today, which we don't even consider it as a luxury, but it's a luxury for them. Going to school is a luxury for many poor children or the ones who would belong to below the poverty line. So this chapter is divided into two parts, focusing on two boys, Sahib Alam and Mukesh, who represent thousands of underprivileged children in the country. Now, part one, Sahib, a rag picker from Simapuri. So, in the first part, the author talks about a boy named Sahib Alam. Now, Sahib Alam is a very royal, regal name, like it's a name of some prince of some dynasty. Now, his name means Lord of the Universe, Sahib Alam. But in reality, he is very poor. He lives in Simapuri in a slum, a area on the outskirts of the Delhi. Sahib families came Sahib family came from Dhaka in Bangladesh after storms destroyed their home and fields. They migrated to India in search of food and work. So they are migrants from Dhaka. They are not usually Delhites or the one who get born in Delhi. So they are migrants uh, who came in search of food and some work so that they can sustain their livelihood better. Now Sahib works as a rag picker. कूड़ा बीनते हैं ना जो लोग उन्हें रैग पिकर कहते हैं. Every morning he searches through garbage to find useful things that he can sell. Now he hunts garbage like finding like he was searching for some gold and silver. So if you know that rag pickers or searches through garbage just to find stuff which they can sell in order to sustain themselves through some bits of money. So they sell plastic bags, poly bags, which we guys just threw it. They just sell these poly bags. They sell the discarded hairs, the hairs which we discard. They sell those hairs and plastic bottles, cardboards, paper items, and many such things. They sell these things as these are further maybe required by some manufacturers or anything in bulk productions. So they sell these stuffs. They sell glass items also. Now, so he always searches garbage to find useful things which he can sell, the things which can be worth it. For his family, garbage is a means of survival. But for children like Sahib, it also brings a little excitement because sometimes they find coins or valuable objects. So sometimes it's like a windfall gain for them as they, as if someday their lottery came, if they find some money coins and something valuable which is worth more than a penny, we can say. So it's very exciting for them to find such things like you are finding treasure hunt. So it's like that. For his family, garbage is a means of survival. The author notices that Sahib and other children walk barefoot. So they walk barefoot, which means they didn't even have the money to purchase some sort of slippers or sandals for them. Some people say it is a tradition, but actually it shows extreme poverty. They cannot afford shoes. So some of them just don't want to feel that they can afford that. So they says that it's a part of tradition, but it shows extreme poverty. They cannot afford that. It's even a luxury for them, which we don't even consider necessity. Like it's a basic thing, we can say that for us. So look how privileged we are. One day the author asks Sahib why he does not go to school. He says there is no school in this area. Later, when the author jokingly says she will open a school, Sahib seriously asks her if it has been built. This shows how badly he wants education. Now, author one day just interacted with Sahib Alam a bit, and when she got to know that he doesn't go to school, so she jokingly says that she will build one school in that area for him, as there was no school in that locality where he lives. So it was a thing that it was an expectation for him. So he started expecting that very seriously. He didn't took the joke in a casual way. He took it a very serious way. That she have said that she will build a school for us. Then he just asked her, "What's the progress of the school? Have it been built? How much time will it take?" So it shows how desperately he wants education. Later, Sahib starts working at a tea stall. He earns 800 rupees and get meals. So he started working at a tea stall at a very early age, and he earns 800 rupees plus he gets meals there. He even wears shoes now, but the author notices that his smile and freedom are gone. Earlier, while rag picking, he was poor but free. He had some sort of freedom. Now he works under someone's control. This shows how poverty steals not childhood only, but also freedom. So he was rag picking. At that time, he was young. So his family wasn't even so somewhere his freedom got snatched. Earlier when he was ragpicking, his family somewhere somewhat knew that he is very at a young age. So there wasn't uh they didn't threw responsibility to him. But as he grew up, so they told him, yeah, or maybe उसको अपनी responsibility का एहसास हुआ. He got aware about his responsibility, that he has to be a breadwinner for his family. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for their survival. So he started working at a tea stall, and now, at a job, they have some pressures, some work limits. So he was somewhere not happy in his life of from that job because his freedom was snatched. He had to work for a fixed number of hours. Now, this shows the poverty steals not only childhood but also freedom. So ragpicking has become both a means of survival and tradition for these families. For adults, garbage represents livelihood and survival, but for children like Sahib, it also carries hope and excitement. Sometimes they find coins or valuable objects, but now he can't even hunt for valuable objects in his job. So, somewhere his excitement, his hope is has come to an end for as per him. Now, the symbolism of barefoot childhood. Now, Sahib and other children roam freely like birds, but their freedom is only an illusion because of their extreme poverty that controls their lives. It overpowers them. Education remains only a distant dream for children like Sahib. When the author casually suggests that Sahib should go to school, he replies that there is no school in his neighborhood. His innocent question later about whether the school has been built exposes how easily promises are made to poor children but rarely fulfilled. Now, Sahib's lost freedom. One day, the author notices Sahib watching young boys playing tennis inside a club. Though fascinated by the game, he can only observe it from a distance. This shows the distance between rich and the poor. But occasionally, the gatekeeper allows him to use the swing when no one is around. But that doesn't give justice to him. Later, Sahib starts working at a tea stall where he earns a pretty much good amount along with meals. But that job isn't giving him satisfaction, freedom, dignity, and we must say some sort of peace to him. Now he wears shoes also, and earlier he was barefoot, just roaming around some streets, searching for some treasure. But now that's all gone. His cheerful and carefree expressions have been disappeared. Rag picking was an enjoyment for him, or a sense of independence. but the burden of responsibilities above him for breadwinning has won over his innocence. Thus, poverty steals not only education but also a childhood freedom, dreams, and many such things. So now we have discussed about part one. Now we will discuss about part two. Now Mukesh, a child laborer of Firozabad, a Bengal child laborer of Firozabad, I must say. The second part focuses on Mukesh, who lives in Firozabad, a town famous for its glass bangle industry. Mukesh belongs to a family of bangle makers. For generations, his family has been indulged in this profession of bangle making. The children work in very dangerous conditions near hot furnaces in small dark rooms. The heat and glass dust damage their eyes and health. Even though child labor is illegal, thousands of children still work here. The families live in small, crowded houses. They remain poor because middlemen, moneylenders, and even police exploit them. They are trapped in a cycle of poverty and tradition. Mukesh's grandmother believes that bangle making is their destiny. This mindset stops them from dreaming of a better life. The author also talks about young girls like Savita who make bangles. Bangles are a symbol of happiness and marriage in Indian culture, but the children who make them live unhappy and painful lives. This is very ironic that it's a symbol of happiness or prosperity for some of them, and for some of them, it's a sort of painful and unhappy experience which they have to accept unapologetically. It's very ironic. Now, Mukesh dreams. Unlike others, Mukesh has a dream. He wants to become a motor mechanic. He does not want to continue his family's traditional legacy work. He says he will walk to a garage to learn the work. Even though his dream is small, it shows courage and hope. Mukesh represents a ray of hope that change is possible. Now, the role of tradition and social structure. Now, the caste or tradition to which Mukesh belongs, they aren't allowed to choose professions, occupations of their on their own, because the old earlier democratic caste system which divides shudras, which have distinct shudras, untouchables or harijans, to a extent that they have been able to believe that they are untouchable, they are not good, they are almost, you can say, unholy, shrapit, they are not pure souls. So that is here. So some sort of discrimination on the basis of caste or their background is there. The author explains case tradition and social system that trap these families in a cycle of poverty. Mukesh's grandmother believes that their occupation is their. Now the ones who belong to upper caste or a good background, financially secured, they just exploit these workers. They torture them. Even if they try to organize themselves or demand better conditions, they fear punishment and harassment. As a result, they remain helpless and continue working under exploitation. Children grew up accepting this burden as a natural part of life without questioning it. Now, the symbolism of bangles and exploitation. As we have discussed about young girls like Savita who work tirelessly making this soldering glass bangles. Ironically, bangles symbolize happiness and marital prosperity in Indian culture. Yet the children who make them live miserable lives filled with hardship and hunger. So that's the irony, that some workers lose their eyesight towards giving their contribution in somebody's happiness and marital prosperity, but it cost them a huge amount as they lost their eyesight. Despite years of labor, families struggle even to obtain proper means. Now Mukesh dreams and hope. Unlike others, Mukesh dreams of becoming a motor mechanic, which we have already discussed, that he wants to break all the taboos and want to become somebody of his choice. He wants dignity, respect, a respectful profession, and something which gives him happiness in his life. He doesn't want to continue the old, dramatic, traditional barriers. He wants to do something different, distinct. So he's very brave, very bold, that he's even thinking of such thing, despite of facing all the oppression and harassment. And he confidently says and believes that he will walk to achieve his goals. So his dreams remain limited by circumstances, as he cannot even imagine bigger possibilities like flying an airplane. So, what's his dream? His dream is becoming a motor mechanic. So you can expect that we people believe that we want to be a chartered accountant, company secretary, and some great respectable professions. But his dream is like finding some another above average job, that is motor mechanic. So they also belong to a labor class, but in somewhat they live a somewhat better condition from the family which he belongs. So his opinions, his dreams are even limited according to his circumstances. So that's very ironic. Still represents a small ray of hope against the oppressive system. Now, main message of the chapter. Though Saheb and Mukesh, the author shows poverty forces children to work, social traditions and exploitation trap families in poverty. Children lose their childhood, education, and dreams. This chapter teaches us that every child deserves education, dignity, and freedom. So, Lost Spring is a powerful chapter that shows the reality of child labor in India. It makes us think about the lives of poor children and understand their struggles. At the same time, it gives us hope through Mukesh's dream that one day some change can happen. Some change will destroy all these traditional taboos, all the discrimination, and let everybody live a life which they want to live. So that is all. I hope you like this detailed explanation. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and please share it also so that please support me. Okay, great. All the best for your board exams. Bye bye.